For centuries, the Mediterranean belonged to Carthage. Its merchants dominated trade. Its shipbuilders were among the finest in the ancient world. Its sailors had spent generations mastering the sea. Rome was something entirely different. Its armies were feared across Italy. Its legions had built a reputation for discipline and determination. But at sea, Rome was helplessly outmatched. Yet with only a few years, Rome defeated the greatest navy in the Mediterranean. Not because its ships were faster, not because its sailors were more experienced, but because the Romans introduced one remarkable invention that completely changed the rules of naval warfare. This is the forgotten story of the Corvus, the secret weapon that helped Rome rule the sea. Before Rome became the dominant power of the Mediterranean, it first had to overcome one enormous obstacle: Carthage. Founded centuries earlier by Phoenician settlers, Carthage had grown into one of the wealthiest and most powerful cities of the ancient world. Its influence stretched across North Africa, Spain, Sardinia, Corsica, and much of the western Mediterranean. Wherever valuable trade existed, Carthaginian ships were rarely far behind. Unlike Rome, Carthage lived by the sea. Its prosperity depended upon commerce. Its navy protected trade routes that stretched for hundreds of miles. Its sailors possessed generations of practical experience navigating the Mediterranean's unpredictable waters. Rome, by contrast, had earned its reputation on land. Its disciplined legions had steadily expanded Roman territory across the Italian peninsula. But naval warfare was another matter entirely. Although Rome maintained small coastal vessels and rivercraft, it lacked the experienced sailors and maritime tradition necessary to challenge Carthage's fleet. Everything changed in 264 BC. A dispute over the Sicilian city of Messana drew Rome and Carthage into open conflict. What began as a regional disagreement quickly became the First Punic War, a struggle that would determine who controlled the western Mediterranean. Rome soon realized a difficult truth. It could win every battle on land and still lose the war. As long as Carthage ruled the sea, Roman armies could never carry the fight directly to their enemy. There was only one solution. Rome would have to build a navy from almost nothing. Shipyards across Italy worked at an astonishing pace, constructing hundreds of warships. Thousands of inexperienced recruits trained as oarsmen. Ancient historians even describe Roman crews practicing their rowing movements while seated on wooden benches built on dry land before ever stepping aboard an actual ship. Despite these efforts, experience cannot be built overnight. The learning curve proved steep. In 260 BC, Roman consul Gnaeus Cornelius Scipio sailed to the island of Lipara after receiving reports that the harbor had been abandoned. The reports were wrong. Under cover of darkness, the Carthaginian squadron entered the harbor, trapped the Roman ships, and captured the entire force, including the Roman consul himself. It was a humiliating defeat. Many nations would have concluded that Carthage simply could not be beaten at sea. The Romans reached a different conclusion. If they cannot become better sailors overnight, they would simply find another way to fight. That solution became known as the Corvus. Its name means the raven. At first glance, it appeared remarkably simple: a long wooden boarding bridge mounted near the bow of a Roman warship. At its end hung a heavy iron spike. As Roman ships closed with the enemy, the bridge would suddenly crash into the deck of an opposing vessel. The iron spike bit into the timbers below, locking the two ships together. In an instant, a naval battle became something entirely different. Instead of relying upon superior seamanship, complicated maneuvers, or expert rowing, Roman commanders transformed the fight into what their soldiers knew best: infantry combat. Now Roman legionnaires could charge directly across the bridge onto enemy decks, shield against shield and sword against sword. That was exactly the kind of battle Rome wanted. The Carthaginians had expected to defeat inexperienced sailors. Instead, they found themselves fighting disciplined Roman infantry. The new weapon made its greatest impact during the Battle of Mylae. There, the Roman fleet under Gaius Duilius met the Carthaginian navy in one of the war's earliest major engagements. As Carthaginian captains attempted their traditional tactics, Roman ships closed the distance. Again and again, the Corvus slammed onto enemy decks. Roman legionnaires poured across the bridges. Ship after ship fell into Roman hands. By the end of the battle, dozens of Carthaginian vessels had been captured or destroyed. For the first time, Rome had defeated the greatest naval power in the Mediterranean. Not because it had become a better navy, but because it had forced its enemy to fight on Roman terms. The victory at Mylae changed far more than a single battle. It transformed Roman confidence. No longer was the sea viewed as an impossible obstacle. It had become another battlefield where Roman discipline and ingenuity could prevail. Over the following years, Rome continued expanding its fleet and eventually fought even larger engagements, including the colossal Battle of Mylae, one of the largest naval battles of the ancient world. The First Punic War would continue for years. There would be victories. There would also be disasters. Storms destroyed fleets. Defeats tested Roman resolve. Yet the lesson remained the same. Innovation had allowed Rome to survive long enough to learn. And as Rome gained experience, its navy became stronger with every campaign. Eventually, Carthage's centuries of naval dominance came to an end. Rome emerged as the leading power of the Western Mediterranean, setting the stage for an empire that would shape the ancient world for centuries to come. The Corvus was not merely a clever piece of engineering, it represented something far greater: Rome's willingness to adapt, to learn, and to solve problems in ways its enemies never expected. When most people think about Rome's rise to power, they picture disciplined legions marching across Europe. Few imagine that one of Rome's greatest military innovations took place aboard a warship. The Corvus did more than help Rome win naval battles. It changed the balance of power across the Mediterranean and demonstrated a lesson that has echoed throughout military history ever since. The greatest advantage is not always superior numbers or greater experience. Sometimes the greatest advantage is the ability to change the rules of the fight. History is full of forgotten stories. This is one of them. History matters because people matter. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's story, I'd really appreciate if you would like this video and subscribe to HMS History with Michael Stroud. Those simple actions make a tremendous difference in helping YouTube recommend those often overlooked stories to more people who love history. If you'd like even more, be sure to visit michaelgstroud.com, where you can subscribe to the HMS Monthly Dispatch, my free monthly newsletter featuring behind-the-scenes research, upcoming projects, and exclusive historical insights. Until next time, history matters because people matter.